it's Katie, the Celestial Homebody, and this is the channel where, when you're here, you're family. I have a lot to show you guys today, as well as you can see that big hunkin' box behind me from Michaels. I have a yarn haul to do. But before we get into that, I invite you to lay your eyes, rest your eyes on my chesticles. New merch. I designed this merch for Valentine's Day. They have little conversation hearts that say things akin to crocheting or knitting. So we've got that one that says Froggin' Cute. We have So Crafty, Yarn Hoarder, Not Today, folks, as well as Handmade Babe. You can get this on my website if you're interested. Link in the description box so we can be twinning. Get it in time for Valentine's Day. Also, guess who's back again. Reggie's back. Tell a friend. Did you guys miss Reginald? Here he is, googly eyes and all. He is back, baby. And as you can see, we are in the new studio. Woohoo! Ryan is actually over there crocheting on the couch. So if you hear any noises, that's Ryan. I told him to hush up though if he's gonna be in here. He's got to be quiet. He's actually crocheting a tapestry for me to cover the electrical panel that's in the shed here. So that's what he's working on. So what should we start with? Should we start with the plushies or should we start with the yarn haul? Let's do the yarn haul so we can get this box out of the way. So as you can see, it is from my good friend Michaels. So you may or may not know that I have been on a little bit of a demi-pearl kick as of late. I had ordered a couple of skeins of this just to try it from Michaels online, and I only got 3 colors, and I really enjoyed working with it. So we recently went to Michaels and filmed a vlog. If you have not seen that vlog, it's up on the channel where we go shopping for the demi-pearl, and I got a good chunk of colors from the stores, but unfortunately the demi-pearl seems to be a hot commodity, so it's unfortunate for me because I wasn't able to get very many colors. So I went ahead and placed a Michaels order and got a bunch of them. So I wanted to show you all of the colors. If you're not familiar with the demi-pearl, I don't know how to explain it. And here's what's interesting already right out of the box. The texture on these skeins is so different from one skein to another. This color, which is called, let me see if the color names are. Okay, they're right above the barcode. This is called White Cap Gray. And this is very, very soft and spongy yarn. This almost feels like a Lise Voluto if you've ever worked with that. But then this color, on the other hand, this is called Rose Violet, which first and foremost, look at that color. That is stunning. But this feels like old stiff Bernat. So why the drastic difference in the skein textures? I don't know. I still think that I'm not going to have too hard of a time working with this though, because unlike the stiff Bernat blanket, this I can use a much bigger hook with, and I have found that it's a lot easier for me to work with this really dense, girthy, tubular yarn when I'm working with a bigger hook. So if I use like a 7 or an 8mm hook on this, I think that it's not going to hurt my hands. And because the yarn is thick enough, I'm definitely going to be able to get the size out of it. So I did not have anything in mind when I bought this color. I just thought it was really unique because it's not like hot pink. Actually, wait a second. I bought their hot pink shade. Oh yeah, here it is. Ooh, this one's nice and soft. So this is the color Pink Lemonade, and I have gotten this one before. This one is like a true bright pink. This one is a little bit more on the purple side, but it's not quite as purple as that Big Twist Posh Smoothie Bowl color that I used for my blue chicken combs. But it was just a really unique shade. So nothing specific in mind for this, but I thought that it was pretty. I guess we'll just throw these behind me until after the video, and then I'll go ahead and put them all away. By the way, I'm so sorry if the camera is tilted a little bit. You're kind of on a janky setup right now. We're working out some kinks with the whole filming situation. Normally, I'm fine with kinks, but when it involves filming, we don't like, and it really bothers me that it's not tilted. Is that better or is that worse? That might be better. Sorry if it's not. Okay, so like I said, this is the pink lemonade color, and another shade that I have worked with before, so we'll get it out of the way. This one's another really nice soft skein. This is the color Pale Lilac, which makes absolutely no sense because it is actually just light pink. So I made axolotls recently out of these two colors, this as the body and then the hot pink as the accents on it. And I loved the size that the axolotls came out to be. So what I was keeping in mind when I was placing this order was purchasing colors that I could make like different color axolotls out of, because you guys have heard of the game Minecraft. You know about Minecraft. Your son plays it, your grandson plays it, your uncle plays it, your niece plays it, daughter. I don't know where I was going with that. A lot of people play Minecraft. And in Minecraft, there are axolotls. Now, they are little like pixel axolotls. They kind of just look like little blobs, but all the kids know about the Minecraft axolotls. So I don't play Minecraft personally, so I went and looked at like a chart to see what color axolotls came in Minecraft. Pink, obviously standard pink color, gold axolotl, blue axolotl, which is kind of just like, it's not really blue. To me, the body looks blue, but the accents on it actually look dark purple, and then gray axolotl. And I think there's a brown one too, but those ones are kind of boring. I was just gonna do the colored ones. So I already have, I don't remember how many pink axolotls I made. Did I make 4 or 5? I don't remember. You guys can tell me because I shared it in a video. Maybe it wasn't that much. Maybe it was only 3. I don't remember. I have the short-term memory of a goldfish. So anyways, I got some more pink to make some more pinks. This color, the white cap gray that I showed a minute ago, this I did not get for axolotls, but I thought that this would be a great color for dolls. If I ever decided to do some of my character dolls, like anime dolls or whatever, in the demi pearl, this is like the perfect pale skin tone, akin to my skin tone. I'm a little bit more pink than this, but so that's why I got that one. Then to do the golden axolotls, which y'all have told me they sell actually really well in the gold color, which I didn't think that they would because it's kind of an ugly color scheme in my opinion, but supposedly they're rare in the world of Minecraft, so the kids are drawn to them. So for the gold axolotl bodies, I got Mojave Desert. It is just like a more yellowy tan. The lighting is not super great because we have the mood lighting today. Let me know, by the way, in the comments, do you guys like this mood lighting or would you prefer like all of the overheads on? I'm not going to show you all the overheads on because the light switch is way over there, but I made the executive decision that we're going with the mood lighting. So hopefully you can see it okay. I think you can. So Mojave Desert is this yellowish tan. And then for the accents on the gold axolotls, I got this color, which is coming off more chartreuse on camera, but it is called Tawny Olive, and it is like a lighter colored mustard. So those are the two colors together for the gold axolotls. I think those I think are going to look really nice, but both of those skeins are the more stiff tubular feeling, so I'm not really looking forward to that, to be honest with you. And then for the blue axolotls, this one is really soft. This one is called Baltic Sea. They had a couple of light blue shades. They were all very similar, but you know what Demi Pearl does not have is a light purple, so they definitely need to add that to their repertoire, as well as like a nice bright red. They do have like a ruby red, but nothing like a poppy from Premier or anything like that. So those would be my two color suggestions: bright red and an actual pale lilac, not that pink shade that they called pale lilac. What are they going to call the light purple color? Strawberry shortcake? Knowing them, who knows? But anyways, this nice light purple or nice light blue. And then, as I mentioned, so the Minecraft blue axolotls have like a more purpley tone of their accents. So I thought that this color was perfect. Look at those. I think that that's really going to create the Minecraft vibe. This is called Purple Haze. All right, there's one that is named appropriately. It looks on camera a little bit more blue than it does in person. It's more, definitely like a dusty purple. This blue is a lot more vibrant, but I do still think that they're going to go well together. Then I just got a couple of random ones, not for axolotls. I got a skein, oh, this one doesn't feel good, of the black, although they call it Moonless Night. It is very old formula, stiff Bernat feeling, and I was hoping that since black is a color that is used a lot, I would assume that it would be softer. And my reasoning is because I said this in the vlog, that a lot of people, a lot of you guys have reported to me that you need to touch all of the skeins of Demi Pearl because the texture in them varies dramatically, which we're finding here just in this order. And my theory was that maybe the colors that aren't super popular, like that really gaudy chartreuse color, was from some of the first batches, and then the colors that sell really well at that they're constantly like remanufacturing and putting in reproduction and sending to stores and to customers, that those, like, they've nailed down the formula so that they'll be softer. If that makes any sense. It does in my mind, but who knows what goes on in this universe. So I was hoping that since black was one of those colors that I assume is purchased a lot, it would be one of those ones where the skeins would be like a super nice, soft, fluffy texture because they have the manufacturing down pat. And unfortunately, that's not the case, at least not yet. Maybe they'll get better over time. I mean, Michaels did surprise us with the whole Sweet Snuggles and Chenille Home Slim deal. I mean, they did discontinue the Chenille Home, but they are completely, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they have completely, in total, fixed all of the production quality issues with the Sweet Snuggles. That is only from my experience. Every skein that I have touched since they have started putting them back on the shelves has been really nice in comparison to what we used to get, which was a starchy disaster. Anywho, I digress. This next color that I just got because I thought that it was an interesting green shade, and I thought that this would be good for trees. I don't know when I'm gonna make a tree, but this is what I got. This is called, excuse me, Sphagum, S-P-H-A-G-U-M, Gesundheit. That sounds like something that would come out of your crevices when you were sick. But it's a really unique shade of green that I don't have anything like in my stash. And then lastly in this box, we got this gorgeous burnt orange, kind of terracotta-y color. This is called Cinnamon Stick. this name makes sense. I would say this is very cinnamon sticky. It is more orange in person. On camera, it's kind of coming off a little bit brown. But this would be like the perfect like fox. You know what? I've been meaning to make a red panda, and I wonder if this might be a good shade. I would have to see what other shades of the demi pearl I have in my stash to see if I have all of the colors to do the red panda, but that would be nice because like I mentioned, this is thick yarn, so it would come out nice and big for the amount of work that is with all the color changes and everything. So yeah, that was everything in the box. That is my Michael's Demi Pearl haul. Leave me a comment, let me know if you have also noticed a texture / quality difference. I wouldn't say any of these are bad quality. They just feel different from one skein to another, and of course I much prefer the softer, spongier ones than I do the stiff tubular ones. So yeah, we're done with that. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let's get into what I made this week. Starting with some things that I needed to restock, and that is these little chicks in eggs. Look at these guys, they're so goofy. So this pattern, who was the creator? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I don't know any other patterns by this creator except for this one, but I will link it for you in the description box along with all of the other patterns that we're talking about today. But this chick in an egg pattern I have made, I'm going to say once, because I made 20 of them the first time I decided to make the chicks and eggs, and I just batch crocheted them and cranked them out, went to market, took the chicks and the eggs to market, slapped a $15 price on these guys, and almost sold out of the chicks and the eggs at that 4-hour market. I think I have 5 or 6 of them left out of the 20 that I had made and brought. So this is only the second time that I have actually sat down and made the chicks and eggs, but I needed to restock because I can't speak for long term if these are going to be a bestseller for me, but based on how they sold like hotcakes the first market that I took them to, I'm gonna say I got pretty high hopes for them. High hopes for a living. So I did learn that the kids especially really liked the fun colors. I went ham making yellow chicks and white eggs because I figured, you know, that's like standard. That's what people would want. But no, all of the really fun colored ones sold first. And I still have, like, I think all 6 that I have left are yellow and white. So I pulled out my fun colors. So as you can see, this one, the eggshell, is the Bernat, no, not Bernat, scratch that from the record. The Chenille Brights tie-dye that you can get on Premiere, by the way, affiliate link in the description box. This, I want to say, is the color Technicolor. I think that's what it's called. And then I did a hot pink chick. What I like about using the tie-dye for the eggs is there are so many colors in there that you can pull from. And I actually did 2 eggs in this yarn, and I did both of them in pink, but for this one, his hair, I gave a blue tuft to pull some of that blue from the eggshell, and then this one I did pink. But I could have done a green chick. I could have done like a really fun bright yellow. The possibilities I feel like are endless with these tie-dye shades. So I did 2 tie-dyes with hot pink chicks. Oh, let me get my body back. There we go. Then I used the Peace and Love colorway of the Premier Chenille tie-dye. It's such a mouthful. This one I did a little periwinkle chick with a pink tuft of hair. These just rest in here so nicely. They are very satisfying to take in and out of here, I will say. I used periwinkle, and I'm not really sure why, because there is no periwinkle in this yarn. I just thought that it went nicely because it is akin to the pastel colors. This one I think is my favorite of all that I made. And then I made this one also in the Peace and Love tie-dye, but I did a yellow chick with a pink tuft of hair. You know, as I was making these, I was kind of thinking maybe instead of preparing all of the chicks with the eggs, I could do, if I have the booth space for it, do like a choose an egg, choose a chick sort of situation, and then people can pick, you know, because I tend to go for colors that match. Instead of doing like, I don't know, like an electric blue chick inside this pastel eggshell, I would not do that. I'm going to go for the pastel colors, but I don't know, maybe somebody wants the pastel shell with the electric blue chick. I don't know. I need to see how well these sell first, and then I might do like a full make your own chick and an egg station. And I don't know, maybe include some sort of accessory with them. I don't know. There's no way of doing their hair separately, because that would be an idea of doing a chick, an egg, and then like a hair piece, like the mohawk piece separately, and then they could choose all the colors. That would be cool. But unfortunately, I don't think that there is a way to do that. But I don't know. My creative brain is just running amok at this moment. I don't think I said I ended up making 10 of these chicks and eggs to restock. Then I did a couple in this new burnout blanket color. I picked this up at Meijer. It is called Burnout Twist, and I had never seen the Burnout Twist IRL before spotting it at Meijer. We also found it in that shopping vlog that I mentioned earlier. And I just saw this colorway and I was like, it is just so fun. I want to say it was called Ocean Tides or Ocean Waves, something having to do with the ocean, because it is teal, dark blue, and like mint twisted. The skein that I picked up did not feel very good, to be honest with you. It was like stiff burnout, but it wasn't too bad to work with, actually. I just sized up my hook. Normally I use a 6.5 millimeter or a 6 millimeter. This one I used a 7 millimeter on, and I don't have any holes or anything, and that helped my hands not hurt so much with how dense this yarn is. But anyway, so I made a couple of eggshells in this colorway. This one, look at this guy. I call this the Albert Einstein do. Also maybe like Johnny Bravo with that cut, you know? This is a Chenille Brights color, and I want to say it's like Rain or something. I don't know. You guys know me with color names. I just make them up as I go. As long as you say anything with confidence and conviction, people will believe you. That's what I've learned online. Anyway, so there's that one. And then I did an inverse. So I did that rain color with a Burnout Twist chick. Also with the crazy Einstein do. This fur, by the way, it's also from Premier. I think it's Bunny Brights is the line. Then I did this one, which is also the Burnout Twist. But for this chick, I gave blue hair just because he's a punk rocker. And I thought that it was appropriate with all the shades of blue. Then, these two are pretty boring. This one I did a purple egg. It's like a dusty purple. This is also Burnout Baby with a little pink chick with a pink tuft of hair. Purple and pink, you know, classic combo. Then I did a pink shell with a peach chick as well as a pink tuft of hair. All of the colors, by the way, is Honey Bunny from Premier, but the long hair for the Albert Einstein chicks, that is Bunny Brights. So if you're curious about the difference between the two bunny fur lines at Premier, Bunny Brights is long, Honey Bunny is short little little bits. And yeah, I could have given him a little trim, but I kind of like the craziness of the tuft of hair. They're fun. Then I did 2 eggs in this burnout. I'm not even gonna guess on the color. This is burnout blanket. I don't know, it looks like moss. If I were to name it, I would call it moss something. I did 2 in this shade. This one is a blue chick. This one kind of looks like he had a stroke because one eye is a lot lower than the other. But here's the thing with these. First of all, I don't have any eyes smaller than a 10 millimeter, so I feel like I should have done, I don't know, I feel like I should have ordered more eyes and then done smaller eyes, but they're kind of cute with the big eyes. But here's the thing is that also I said big eyes, not big eyes. Get your mind out of the gutter. But what I like to do is I always put the post of the eye not in between stitches, but in like the V of the stitch instead of in between them, because it makes them a lot more secure. Because if I were to put these posts into like in between the stitches, then eyes this small would just come right out using this yarn with a 6 or 6.5 millimeter hook. So when I was trying to do that, I wanted to get this eye locked into the middle of like a V in the stitch, and it just made it much lower than the other eye. But he's quirky, that's okay. And then the final one that I did also in this burnout mossy color is another blue chick, but he has the Johnny Bravo do. Little mohawk action right there. So yeah, so that's 10 more chicks and eggs added to my stash, which is good and desperately needed. I really hope that those do continue to sell well because they do not take long at all. I actually did time making them. So it takes me 6 minutes to do the chick and 3 minutes to do each part of the shell. That's how long it takes me. And then like embroidering and like sewing the shell pieces together. I would say 15, 16 minutes to do each of those. And I put a $15 price on them. And they flew. So that is a really good like bang for your buck in terms of how much time you're putting into them, and they don't take a lot of material because you don't have to stuff the egg. So those are a win in my book. Let's just hope that people don't get burnt out on them like they did with like the sea turtles and the Mabel chickens and all the other patterns that every other crocheter is doing at markets. Okay, this one's fun. So I was part of a pattern test this past weeks, by Holly, gosh, I can't think of her name. My mind is on vacation. My last 2 brain cells have said sayonara tonight, if you can't tell, but I'll link it for you. Actually, I can't link this exact pattern because it's not coming out until I want to say Wednesday when you're watching this. It might not be until later in the week, but I will link her Etsy for you. And then if you're watching this like in the future and this pattern's already out, then I'll go back and I'll put the link for this exact pattern. You guys, I think, are going to want this pattern. I have used Holly's patterns before a couple of times, including some of your guys' favorite makes, like the butterfly dragons. Those were by her. The clown cat, that was by her. The bat snuggler was also by Holly. So I saw this pattern, tester call, and I was like, I volunteer as tribute. I think that this would sell really well at a convention, which I do have 2 coming up this year in 2026. So fortunately I was selected. But then it came down to, well, what color scheme do I want to do for this? And before I show you, I'll just tell you, it is an elephant. Okay, so I was deciding, do I want to do like a character inspired elephant and base it off of like Dumbo or a Heffalump from like Winnie the Pooh? Or do I want to just do like a pastel, I almost said dragon. My brain is no worky today. Oh my goodness. Elephant. Do I want to do a pastel elephant, or do I want to make it like a creepy, spooky elephant with the white pupil eyes? Ultimately, I decided to do a Dumbo-inspired elephant. And here he is. I don't think you guys are ready for this. Look at this guy. He is so stinking cute. Oh my gosh, that probably just peaked the audio. I'm sorry, I got really excited there about him for a second. So as you can see, I went with the Dumbo inspired. Actually, I was filming a vlog this week that's gonna come out on Friday. So keep your eyes peeled on Friday for a vlog that's kind of like a week in my life, but it's more just like a behind the scenes of, I packed some orders, I made some safety eyes, I crocheted along with you guys, and picked out my colors for projects and kind of talked to you guys through like my process for choosing my yarn for the project. So you'll see more behind the scenes in Friday's video, but this is the finished clown elephant, and I think she's got a little bit of a thing for clowns, because if you look at Holly's patterns, a lot of them are clown themed. So I think she is doing like a, I don't know, like a clown accoutrement with different animals. She's done the cat. I think she's done, well, I know that she's done the cat because I have that pattern. Obviously the elephant. She's done a couple other patterns. She's working on one right now that she sent to the tester group in confidence, so I can't tell you what it is. But for his hat, the only thing that I did different from the pattern was I left off the little pom-pom at the top, and then I also changed around here. It's supposed to be puff stitches or bobble stitches, I can't remember. I did a front loop only single crochet around so that I could flip it up, and so that way it would look a little bit more like Dumbo's hat, his little yellow hat, although he kind of looks like the Jack-in-the-Box head. Look, take away the ears, take away the trunk. Is that not the Jack-in-the-Box head? I feel like it is. I hand painted these eyes. That is something that I did in the vlog, choosing the color for it, and I put the little sparkles in it because I just thought that they looked really sweet and magical. Dumbo has light blue eyes, so that's why I went with light blue. And then when it came to the accent color, because obviously, you know, Dumbo is red and yellow, I was like, what? I need a third color to do for an accent, and I couldn't. I was trying to decide between purple and blue. And you'll see in the vlog that whole decision process, but I ultimately decided to go with the blue, and I do think that it was a good choice because they match the eyes really nicely. He looks very cohesive. I also embroidered some little eyebrows just to give him more of a friendly look. A couple of the testers did like creepy elephants, and they look really cool. Like one person did one black pupil eye and one white pupil eye, and then kind of like cut the whole thing down the middle with like creepy and normal, and it looked so cool, and that was such a good idea. And now I kind of want to do a creepy clown elephant too, but I will say this pattern was very time consuming, and it also used a metric buttload of yarn. So just heads up. In fact, you guys, I was this close to losing yarn chicken with the gray, so much so close that before I finished the last ear, everything else was done. I was working on the last ear and I was like, I'm not going to have enough. I went online, I placed an order for this gray color. This is Chenille Bright's Fog, by the way. Placed a premiere order and for the gray, anticipating running out, and I had just barely enough to finish the ear, so I didn't really technically need to place that order, but that means I'm out of this color anyway, so I went ahead and bought more. Also, I expect congratulatory words in the comments because I did something very heroic, very dainty, very demure, very mindful. And I only placed a yarn order for the skein that I needed, and I did not spend $100 or $75 to get the free shipping. So congratulate me, please. But anyway, so I went ahead and ordered some more of that, which is good because I need some light gray. I really only have, what's that other brights color? Pewter? Oh, I hate that word. I think pewter. I have like 4 skeins of that, but for whatever reason, I have not been purchasing the fog whenever I've placed an order, which is my bad. So this outfit is actually removable. So if you don't mind, avert your eyes as I get him naked. And we can take this completely off. And now he really looks like Dumbo. Does he not? Wow. I actually hadn't seen him without the clothes on completed, like with the little neck ruffle and everything. That looks very much so like Dumbo. And look at these big old pants. What size you think those are? Like, comparatively to him. Size 35? Men's? I don't know men's sizes. Is that big or is that small? I don't know. Ryan, is men's size 35 big or small?
It's probably pretty average. Technically, it's not even a size because it's all even numbers, so 34, 36.
I don't know if you can hear Ryan on the mic, but he said, it's pretty average. Okay, well, this is definitely not average. What size would you say this is? Comparatively. Like a 52? I don't know why are we size shaming Dumbo? That's not the intention. I was just trying to be funny. It does look like a purse. Look guys, look at my pants purse. You can't put anything in it because it just falls right through, but you know, it looks festive. This looks like Santa's pants. Santa's pants is a purse. I've got my hair on it. Anyways, okay, I gotta put the pants back on Dumbo before I throw him in the body bag. So, that pattern will be out soon if you're interested in getting him. Oh, I will mention on the pattern, if you decide to get it, for the ears, you make them in flat crochet and you're not supposed to chain one before you turn. But I feel like if you do, then your ears will come out a little bit bigger. So just keep that in mind. If you're planning on making this and you want the ears to be a little bit larger, do the chain one before you turn. Some people don't do a chain one before you turn. I don't. If I'm flat crocheting, I do not chain. And actually in all of my Snuggle Sprites patterns on the little pocket that you sew on, in the pattern, it does not say chain one and then turn because it's done in flat crochet. And on every single pattern test that I have run for a Snuggle Sprite, so one of the pattern testers say put chain one and turn. And I'm like, no, I don't want you to chain one and turn, because what it does is, if you've flat crocheted, you know, you get like those bumps on the side. That is from the chain. So if you don't chain and then turn, then it minimizes that bumpy look. So that is why I prefer not to do the chain in between. Okay, we've got a lot of colorful things to show you over here, but first, let me show you a few new stickers that I made this past week. This one has been highly requested. I do have like a t-shirt and I think a bag too, merch for this design that I drew of the little kitten here who is a skein of yarn. Very meta because she's also playing with a skein of yarn with another skein of yarn next to her, or a ball of yarn next to her. And I wrote Homebody across the bands. Maybe a little teaser for the Homebody yarn brand coming. Probably not anytime soon because I spent all my money on the shed. But yeah, there is this sticker. It's available now on my Etsy and on my website. And then I also made this sticker. Please excuse, please excuse my ratchet nail polish, but fortunately There's no nail polish left on this finger. So this sticker, this is what I love about making stickers, is I can just make ones that I want. This is one that I had the vision of putting on my own water bottle, so I wanted to make it come to life, and I thought I'd share with you guys. So this one says Millennial Mama, and it is in a Lisa Frank inspired font and like rainbow gradient. This one is a modular pattern, I'm calling it, or not modular pattern, oh my gosh, modular sticker. So what that means is if you're not a mom, but you are a millennial and you just want to be proud of it, you could just use the millennial sticker. Or if you're just a mama, but not a millennial, then you could just use the rainbow gradient mama sticker, and both of them have a like a sparkly star holographic. You can also use both millennial and mama. You can put them next to each other like that. You could put them on top of one another. You could overlap them a little bit. I wanted it to be a little bit modular, so that way, you know, like I know for me, I have so many stickers on my Tumblr that my space is limited. So this is going to be easy for me to find a space for, because I don't have to use it up, you know, that way or that way. I can kind of make them off center to make it work for my own area. So Millennial Mama sticker is also now available on my Etsy and on my website. And then the last couple things that I made this week, not crochet, are I made a few new pairs of safety eyes. So this one, I think I called it, what did I call it? Love Me Tender. I don't know why. I just wanted like a Valentine's themed eye. So this one has pink pupils, and it's got little hearts in them, as well as this holographic glitter. Very beautiful. I did 5 pairs in the pink. Woo! And only 3 pairs in the purple, and 1 pair of purple has already sold. So there's only 2 of the purple pupil left. That is a mouthful, but these are going to be great for your little lovey-dovey Valentine's mix, if that's something that you're working on. So these are available on my website. These are 30 millimeters, by the way. And then the last set of eyes, I ended up making, I think 8 pairs of these. These are 25 millimeters, and these are just absolutely stunning. Might be some of my favorite eyes that I have ever made with that glitter. I want to say I ended up naming them Siren Song, because they just kind of look like, I don't know, like mermaidy. This is that glitter that I picked up at Michael's, by the way, in that vlog. So if you want to place an order for these eyes and I can pay back the absurd amount of money that Michael's was asking for a single thing of glitter, I would appreciate it. So a couple pairs of these also available on my website. All right, let's get back into what I crocheted. Oh, I know, we'll do this one next. Speaking of Lisa Frank inspired things, this next one, I swore to my grave that I would never ever crochet another Lisa Frank leopard. And if you guys have been around for a hot minute, then you might remember my Lisa Frank leopard. It was one of your guys' favorite things that I ever crocheted, and I still get a lot of love about it to this day. Over on Instagram, there's a picture of it still. I said that I wasn't going to sell it, but I ended up putting it out at PopCon kind of just as a showpiece with a $150 price tag on it, thinking nobody would buy that. And it went home like an hour after I set it out, which was wild. So I decided that I wanted to support the creator who originated, well, okay, she didn't originate the Lisa Frank leopard, because obviously Lisa Frank originated the Lisa Frank leopard, but she created a leopard and did like the color gradient and everything, posted it on Instagram, and kind of like her account, her Etsy took off. Her name is Kira. Her Etsy, I think, is Crochet with Kira or Crochet by Kira. I will link it for you. But I really wanted to support her because it was that image that she shared of her Lisa Frank inspired leopard that made me want to do mine. And I ended up using a completely different pattern that was not hers. Her pattern is called Charlie the Cheetah. So I decided, against my better judgment, I'm going to make another Lisa Frank leopard. How hard could it be? It wasn't that bad, right? It's kind of like childbirth. It's like the worst thing that you go through. And then like, I don't know, 5 months later, you're like, it wasn't that bad. I can do that again. That's kind of what this happened with this. So I made another Lisa Frank leopard, this time using Kira's pattern that she showed in that original post. This is called Charlie the Cheetah, even though I think technically the Lisa Frank situation is a leopard, not a cheetah. But I mean, they're similar enough that one could pass for the other in terms of crochet. I know that their spots are different, but in terms of crochet, you know. So her head is sideways, as you can see. That was not intentional, but I'm going to pretend like it was, so that when she's like sitting on a shelf or something, she's kind of got a little like attitude, you know. So here she is. She probably took, I didn't time it, 5 hours, 6 hours, if not more. A lot of time on this and a lot of yarn. So I don't even know where to begin with this, what to say about it. I did just use glitter discs for her eyes because after I finished the body, I was like, I don't want to take any more time to do custom eyes on this girl. So I just used blue glitter discs because I figured, you know, they match her little blue snoot. I did embroider some nice thick eyelashes on her. I do really like the shape of her. She's got like these big bulbous paws and big bulbous feet with some nice hot pink Barbie nail polish going on. But yeah, it was a lot. There were a lot of color changes. Oh, I know what I need to say. If you're interested in doing this, absolutely no shade to the pattern creator, because every pattern designer who does a modification for their patterns does this, and it drives me absolutely bonkers. And if I ever do a mod for one of my patterns, I will not be doing this. And that thing is where they force you to go back and forth between the actual base pattern and the mod. Sometimes for some patterns, it's not that big of a deal because, you know, it's like maybe you just change the legs. So you do the legs on the mod and then you switch over permanently to the base pattern and it's all hunky-dory. For something like this, it was an absolute nightmare. And I felt like that guy in, what is that movie? Is it Beautiful Minds? I don't remember. Where he's like got all the strings going on the red strings going from the pictures on the chalkboard. That is what I felt like making this, because I had to take pictures of the base pattern and then the mod and then like swap back and scroll back and forth on my phone. And that was still, I have dyslexia, so that was still really confusing for me with all of the color changes. So then what I did is I went into my photo editing on my phone and I highlighted the rounds according to the mod, what colors they were supposed to be on the base pattern. And that helped a little bit until I got to the head. And when I tell you this was so incredibly confusing, yowza. Yowza, it was confusing to make this head. And actually, if you look at mine compared to hers, my head coloration looks different. Hers has like a purple stripe down this way. Mine is like the entire top part of the head is purple because I had such a hard time reading the pattern. And so the head works from the back up. Now this would have been a million times easier if it worked from the top, because then obviously once you got to like whatever round this is, you could just color change to pink and then color change to orange, color change to light orange, and it'd be hunky-dory. But no, because it started from the back, you had to change every couple of stitches to get this color change going on. And I ended up just not even looking at the pattern and just doing my own thing with the color changes because I just kept getting lost and frustrated. I had to restart this head 6 times, you guys. This head alone probably took me 2 hours to do. You do crochet the ears in though, so that's good. This is completely no sew. Oh, except for the tail. You do sew on the tail. But I do think you could absolutely, if you make this ahead of time, you could absolutely crochet that into the round. I just didn't, because that's not what the pattern said to do. So just be warned, this mod is not for the faint of heart, and it is not for the crochet beginner. All of that to say though, that it is pretty stinking cute, and I do hope that it goes home. I don't know, if one of you guys is interested, let me know and I'll put her on the website, but she's going to be a very beautiful showpiece at my booth for conventions. I think that will be, she'll be nice. Shall we call her Lisa? Is that too on the nose? I mean, the pattern is called Charlie the Cheetah, but she's not a cheetah. She's a leopard. So we need something with alliteration. Lena the leopard. Leonardo the leopard. Lisa. Lisa the leopard. I need a coffee and a nap, okay? Okay. Let's do, you know what? We're going to save my favorite for last. I have 3 more things to show you, and I got to talk faster because this is already a very long video. I'm sure you guys are sick of me already. After all those like 2.5 hour she shed vlogs and the 10-hour listen to me talk while you sleep video, you guys are probably so sick of listening to me yap. So I'll pick up the pace here. So I made this. So this is a little bunny inspired by a Sanrio character who I cannot think of her name right now. It starts with a U. It is a Japanese name, and I know that the name translates from Japanese to English as Flower Bunny. So should I just look it up? I feel like we should look it up. Hang on. Please hold. Usahana, that's her name. So she is in the Sanrio universe. I don't know, I had the hankering to do some colorful things, and after doing all the color changes on the cheetah leopard, on Lisa down there, I was like, I still want to use some fun, bright colors, but not do the color changes. So I got the idea of just kind of doing like a scrap buster bear situation where just each part of the bear that I were to freehand would be a different color. But then it dawned on me, I was like, I'm pretty sure there's like a Sanrio character that I've seen in the past. This is not a very common Sanrio character. It's not like Hello Kitty or Pom Pom Puddin' or Cinnamoroll or anybody like that. I definitely feel like she's a little bit more niche, at least in like the mass marketed stuff. So hopefully because of that, she'll sell well. Like I talked about on the last episode of this week's makes, you want to find the characters that aren't completely like just the market saturated with them at Walmart or Target or wherever, but still a lot of people know about them. So I figured that this would be like the perfect character. It would check all the boxes and hopefully she'll sell. She's got a cute little pink peach color flower. I did freehand this. There is no pattern for her, but I mean, you could probably find like any bunny pattern and then just color coordinate. I looked at a picture of her and was like, okay, the left arm's purple, the right arm is yellow, and you know, go from there. I also decided to do a little bit more like vibrant colors compared to the actual art of this character. They're a little bit more primary colors. So for example, instead of doing like orange, I went with this nice soft peachy orange, different color peach from her flower though there. But I embroidered her eyes and her little nose and mouth. Oh, speaking of embroidering faces on Sanrio characters, I did listen to your guys' feedback on the Hello Kitty, the mermaid Hello Kitty. I have not fixed her yet, and it's actually kind of funny how divisive the Hello Kitty face was. Some people were like, it's perfect as it is. I absolutely love it. Leave it. Don't change it. Other people were like, girl, you're delusional. That looks awful. Change it. I'm kidding. Nobody said that. You weren't that mean. So I will be fixing her face, and I think that I'm going to do felt. So I'll keep you updated over the next couple weeks whenever I get around to cutting the felt and putting her new face on. But yeah, I did embroider Usahana here, and I'm happy to report that her face looks a lot better than the Mer Hello Kitty did. Okay, this is the biggest thing that I did. You guys, I crocheted a lot this week. All of these projects were so time consuming. All of them. The elephant took like a good 4 or 5 hours, especially with the pants. That was like an extra, I don't know, 45 minutes at least. All the color changes in the Lisa leopard. This thing, this might be the most time that I have ever spent on a project. Ever. I think I probably spent more time making this than I even did on the butterfly dragons, which is crazy because it doesn't look like I would have. But this is a Haku dragon. So if you aren't familiar with Haku, he is a spirit dragon from the Studio Ghibli movie Spirited Away. Much beloved character. Now, of course, I'm not going to call him Haku. He's just a spirit dragon that's white with a blue stripe. This pattern was very expensive. The modification to make him like Haku style is free on Instagram, but the base pattern, it was called like the Sky Dragon or something. I want to say I paid like $8 for it, which is a lot for a pattern, but I figured that something like this, I'm going to put enough time into it where I'm going to charge a pretty penny for this boy, so I'll be able to pay the pattern back when I sell him. So you might be wondering why he took so long, especially compared to the butterfly dragons, which look a lot more intricate. There are a lot of parts to this. You got the head. I embroidered the eyes to make it look kind of a little mischievous, I guess. You have the nose, which is separate, that you have to sew on. This piece is separate, they have to sew on. The horns are separate. Each leg is separate. And then here's the kicker, you guys. Uh-oh, this end is coming out. I gotta tuck that in. Here is the major kicker. The little feet here, which is not in the base pattern. This is part of the Haku mod because Haku has feet. Is that you have to make each individual toe separately and then finish crocheting. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 individual toes that you have to make. And yes, they are small, but it does take a lot of time to do that. And on the very first little hand claw thing that I did, I don't know why I keep calling it a hand. It's not a hand. Imagine if dragons had hands. Imagine if dragons were real. I mean, they're mythical creatures. They might have hands. I don't know. But the first one that I did was huge. I followed the pattern as written in the mod, and it was giant. That part is in the vlog, so you can watch that and see how ridiculous it looked. He looked like he had a hamburger helper hand. So I had to completely cut that out, scrap that, so that added some time. He is a really good size though. Oh yeah, and this entire chest piece, this is 100 rows that you have to sew on. So definitely a work of love. Labor of love. I also purposefully made his head turned because I always think about displaying, because something like this, like somebody might purchase to snuggle, but I have a feeling that whoever takes him home and adopts him, it's more going to be a display on a shelf or like a bed or something. So I did turn his head ever so slightly so that way you could really like see his features. versus just the side of him, you know? And then this is just like a piece of yarn that you kind of weave through here. I used Bernat, so fortunately it does not shed, but there is a note in the pattern where if you're using yarn that sheds, you can always burn the ends, but fortunately I didn't need to do that. And then for his blue stripe, this is that baby bunny, honey bunny from Premier. I wish that they had one, or that I had a skein that was a little bit more minty, a little bit less electric blue and a little more mint. They might offer that. I just don't have it in my collection. So this is Haku. I think that he's going to look very regal, very beautiful sitting up on the top of my display at, I think PopCon is first this year. Last year Comic-Con was first, but I think PopCon is first. All right, you ready for the very last thing that I have to show you guys today? I saved my favorite for last, and it's technically a pattern that you guys have seen before, but it's different. So this is by the designer Crochet Zoologist, who, by the way, won the Yarny Award for Best Up-and-Coming Creator. So congrats to her. I was nominated for it. I did not win, but that's okay. I absolutely adore her patterns. I adore her content. She definitely deserved to win. If you don't follow Crochet Zoologist on Instagram, I highly recommend. She does a lot of like environmental conservation patterns. So like she has a whole line of animal patterns that are endangered species. So like she just did the orangutan, however you say it appropriately. I'm sure I'll get comments about how I pronounce orangutan. But like that, she was the one who did the little ferret that you guys might have seen with the really long body and the big old hips. That was Crochet Zoologist. She does all of the zodiac patterns. I've done pattern tests for her in the past. I love her patterns. So this is one of hers, and this is a pattern that I've done before. He did sell to a subscriber, which is exciting. So I decided I needed to make another one, and that is Pigcasso. Pigcasso, the art pig. So this time, I decided to do a pastel Pigcasso because you guys know me and my pastels. The first time I did it, I used more primary colors, but this time I decided he was going to be a pastel king. Let me show you the back of him with his little tail. He's got a little crisscross in his overalls here. Unlike Elephant, his thing does not come off. Oh, you know what I didn't tell you? In the pattern for the Elephant, it tells you to sew on the pants. I just opted not to do that so that they would be removable. So just keep that in mind. Don't sew on the pants, obviously, if you want them to be removable. But anyways, his is not, because his is a color change. And then you just do a front loop only rim here to complete the look. I did hand paint his eyes. These are like a pastel holographic green, which I thought went really well with his other pastel colors like the periwinkle and the mint. I gave him a periwinkle beret. He wore a periwinkle beret. Doesn't work as well. I don't know if I want to sell him. Honestly, I said that about the last one too. And then a subscriber reached out and was like, I need that. And I sold it. And now I'm kind of sad to see this one go, but I can always make another one, you know? So I guess we can safely say that this piggy is going to market. I gave him some blush, by the way, because of course I did, and some little friendly eyebrows. I love the way that the ears are done on this. There is fluff coming out of his ear holes. I love the way that the ears are made. The pattern for the ears can be a little tricky, but if you just read it carefully, you can easily figure it out. And I just love the shape of his head and his body. Like, look at those hips. Like, he has some birthing hips, you know? And I just love him. He just makes me happy. So until we go to market, I think he is going to sit probably on the shelf above my couch. over there because there's some room over there for him. So there is Picasso. So that is all I have to show you guys this week. Thank you for bearing with me, by the way, with the skips in the This Week's Makes episodes. It has just been crazy over here with surgery, the holidays, then I was sick, and then doing the shed. Like, I haven't really had a lot of time to sit down and crochet. Well, I say that, but you guys are probably thinking Katie's a liar, liar, pants on fire because of all the stuff I had to show you guys today. But I don't feel like I've crocheted a lot. And mind you, that was 2 weeks of crochet because last Monday, I just shared the 10-hour Sleep With Me video. So we're going to be back up and running with the Mondays This Week's Makes, though. Stay tuned for next week because I have some really, really cool things planned, including a couple of patterns that I'm writing. Like little things. We're not doing any snuggle sprites next week, but I have like 3 or 4 patterns in my head that are just little things that I want to make for conventions that I figured I'd write the pattern up for. I'll give you a little sneak peek. That's all you get on one of them. But anyways, Picasso and Dumbo and all of my other crochet friends and I are going to say adieu for now. Thank you all so much for watching. And of course, endless thanks to our members in the Cosmic Couch Club. You guys keep this little galaxy spinning. I hope you all have a fantastic week and keep an eye out on Friday for that spend the week behind the scenes with me vlog. Have a great one, everybody, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.